Okay, so we should have 6 of these pieces. I have 4 sides. Okay, and then I have a top and a bottom. I'm going to go ahead and take one of these and flip this over. Let's scoop this up. And I'm going to score and slip my walls on top of this. So I have to think about where it needs to be scored and slipped. I need to score and slip where it touches, so I have to score and slip underneath here and on top of this. Okay, this is the only thing holding this together. Okay, with a coil pot, you have all kinds of stuff holding it. You know, lots of places that are scored and slipped. You only have certain places that are holding it together. Now, if you look, this is going to make a pattern. Let me hold this right underneath it so you can see it. Do you see that there's a gap right here? Okay, so the way that this goes together is every wall has another one that turns and fills the gap. Okay, so you should have the same pattern on every side. Long, short. Okay, so then when you look at this side, turn and look up here. Okay, you should have the same thing. You should have long and then short. Okay, it should fill. Okay, the same thing here. Long, short. Okay, so it makes that same pattern all the way around. Okay, nothing should be cut ever. I have people who do this and they will score and slip this on and then they'll go, oh no, there's too much. I'll cut this off. Then they'll put the next one on. Oh no, it's too big. They'll cut this off. And then they just keep working around and they have the funniest shaped pot in the end. Okay, so you just need to leave it alone. If something does not fit, then you don't know what to do, the best thing to do is come and ask me. Okay, and I will help you. Okay, I will always help you. So I'm going to go ahead and score and slip this together. So I'm going to score and slip 2 walls. You can see that this is leather hard, so it'll stay up on its own. It's not going to fall over. If you have some pieces that are still kind of wet, then I would go ahead and wait on those pieces and use those pieces last. Okay, so I'm going to put slip on these and dot that on. I'm going to put slip on this one. Okay, and you can't just score and slip the exact same thing on all of them. You kind of have to think about this. So this one's going to go on. I'm going to push it all the way to one side. Okay, and I have a gap over here. And so my next piece is going to go right here. And you can see, this is one I've used before, but I'm going to need to score and slip the side of it, not this part. Okay, or I guess this is more like the back of it than the side. Okay, and then I'm going to have to score and slip the bottom. Okay, so score and slip here, score and slip here, and I've got to score and slip up this side. And if you don't have good slip right now, when we're done with this, you probably need to go make some. Okay, because you're assembling your whole project today. Okay, whereas like a coil pot or a small slab pot was slowly assembled throughout the days that we worked on it. Okay, so make sure you push against this. Okay, so you're pushing to make sure that it's gonna stick, right? You pushed it all the way over, so you have a gap over here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a reinforcing coil on the inside of this. Okay, so a reinforcing coil is going to go in these seams, and it's going to make the pot stronger. It's going to do just what it sounds like it's going to do. It's going to reinforce. Okay, so you need a coil that is the size of like what we did for our coil pots. So you want something that's going to look like this. You would score and slip this coil. Okay, and you need to give it something to stick to on the inside of this. And so, at least for right now, you can use this tool and scratch that inside and get some slip on this. Okay, so when you put this in, I think it's best to go ahead and support the back of this and press this in so you flatten this coil. If you flatten that coil, then it's going to be easier to blend. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. You can see how it's smushed into that groove, and now you're going to be able to take this and easily blend this so you have a curve in that seam instead of that 90 degree. Okay, so that's what we're doing for all of the seams. The seams on the walls aren't real difficult because they don't present a problem. But the ones on the base of this can mess some people up for certain reasons. And let me show you. If I score and slip this one down into the base, and then I blend, as I work my way around to the next piece, this one fits fine, okay? But then you get to this next part and you try and put this piece in and it doesn't fit, right? And it's because you have this curve down here. And so this piece has to be removed, like just 1/4 inch of that reinforcing coil. So you have that notch that this can actually sit in. Okay, that tends to mess people up. But from here on out, what we're doing is we're just scoring and slipping. Okay, so you would score and slip here, score and slip here, score and slip the side, check and see which part touches. Okay, so you would do the back of this, and you need slip on all of it. If you don't score and slip it well enough, it's going to pop apart, and it's not very fun when it does that, when you have really nice carvings on it and then you have to recarve them. Okay, so put it together well. So same thing here, you would push on this outside part, make sure it's stuck, make sure it's all the way over. Okay, and make sure you have that gap. And then that will be, if you see that gap, that's where the next piece is going to go. I would go ahead and put, I'm not going to show you, but I would go ahead and put these reinforcing coils in now, because you can get your hand into the inside of this. So it's easier to go ahead and reach into this and put those coils in now. This last one is more difficult, okay? You're going to have to use something long and skinny to score and slip with, and you're going to have to drop those coils down into that, okay? The last thing that we're going to do, let me go ahead and score and slip this. Some people go ahead and box this all in, and then they try and put those coils in. It's a lot harder, and it's a lot more time consuming. But I can't really get people to do it exactly like I'm saying. Sometimes you just, I guess, figure out that it's hard by doing it. Okay, so that scores and slip there. This one I'm going to score and slip on the side of it. So let me go ahead and make sure. See, this part has to be scored and slipped. Okay, so this one's going to go one more side. Right in here, I'm going to go ahead and press this on just like I talked about. Press the outside so it's going to stick. I'm going to have to do that with this one too. Kind of press, make sure that one's stuck. Okay, so now I have the top. This is all that's left. Okay, I don't want to just score and slip it on right now. I'm going to go ahead and put my reinforcing coil up here because the lid gets cut off second. Okay, it doesn't get cut off right now. It's easier to carve this when it's all one piece. Okay, so I would go ahead and before you close this up, we score and slip just right along the top. So just on this edge, it should be level with the top of the pot. Okay, it might be awkward with this tool, but it's not impossible. You can see how the walls are going to stay together much better with a reinforcing coil than without. Okay, that wall wants to pop because I haven't reinforced it. So I'm going to put slip up here. And score and slip this coil. So what this does for you, and the reason that I suggest putting it in now, I'm just going to put it right there and kind of push it into the corner and turn, and then push it over here and turn, and I don't have enough to go ahead and finish it. But what happens is when we're carving this, it's very easy for the top and the bottom to get like flipped around, okay? You start carving it, you don't know which way was the top, which way was the bottom, which one had the reinforcing coil and which one didn't. And so if you put a reinforcing coil up here, if this coil ends up being on the bottom, when you cut the top off, it's already down there and all you have to do is blend. Okay, so that makes it easier. But from here on, we would, once you have the rest of that coil, we would score and slip the top of this. Okay, and same thing with this piece, we would score and slip. Okay. And then you make sure that you press this on good. This is the only thing holding it together, and remember that wet clay is not going to stick to dry clay, and dry clay is not going to stick to wet clay. It doesn't work. Okay, so both of these are scored and slipped. I'm going to put these on top and press this on good. Okay, and so from here on out, I have everything put together, but I have quite a bit of cleanup. Okay, and let me show you how messy mine is. So you can see the outside of this where you can see those seams. The best way to get rid of a seam is to go across it. Okay, you don't want to try and go the same direction. I tend to go at an angle, but you can blend and get rid of it just by blending over these. We don't want to get rid of these corners. Okay, we want to keep the corners. We don't want to like round everything out, because then where do you start your measurement? Okay, if you don't have a corner. So you need to make sure that you keep that corner, but we need to get rid of all of the seams that are on there. Okay, and really if you have problems, the best thing to do is ask, and we will figure it out together. But once you do this, and you grab a sponge and a water bottle. It's amazing how much we'll clean up with just a little bit of water. Okay, like really pretty fast. That looks a whole lot better, okay, in just a little bit of time than what that side looked like. Okay, so we can't move on until we have something that's a nice, clean, like blank canvas. But this is where we're headed. We are putting these all together today, keeping it as a hollow rectangular prism while we carve.